Famcast Media, bitch.
Demons, demonesses, hate to be the type of guy to ruin, a good day, but this is some terrible news that has just happened recently in basically my neck of the woods. So, if you guys don't feel like reading or hearing about anything sad, depressing, and quite frankly gruesome and disturbing, I'd suggest you find another video to watch. Good afternoon, demons and demonesses. Kwame Wahkan here, and this is a update to a news story that just happened recently. A child in our community had their life taken away by an evil and disgusting individual. I have a news article right now. I'm just going to read it to you guys, let you guys know what's going on. Community mourns trans teen murdered and dismembered at the end of Pride Month. A Pennsylvania community is mourning transgender teen Pauly Likens, 14, whose dismembered body was found at the end of Pride Month. On June 25th, the Sharon Police Department received a report that Likens had been missing since June 22nd. A news release from the Mercer County coroner states. That same day, the Hermitage Police Department was dispatched to a nearby lake where they found dismembered human remains recovered in and around the water, officials state. Likens' remains were recovered in the area surrounding Shenango River Lake over the following week, according to state police. An autopsy revealed that the cause of death was ruled to be a sharp force trauma to the head, and the manner of death was ruled a homicide. Pauly would have been 15 years old this past Saturday, and instead of celebrating their birthday, Mom's still trying to figure out how to plan a funeral, said Pamela Ladner, president of the LGBTQIA+ Alliance Shenango Valley. We're very far from where we thought we were and where we need to go as far as advocacy and keeping our youth safe, especially the LGBTQ youth in particular. Ladner, who is speaking on behalf of Pauly Likens' family, told ABC News that Likens was a jokester who played pranks on her family and was a selfless and loving child. It's really important to build that sense of community in their own backyard so that maybe they could find safe connections right here in their own community, Ladner said. And then we wouldn't be going through these types of situations, tragic situations. Surveillance footage, social media records, and cell phone records found that Likens appeared to be on the phone and waiting to meet someone near the canoe launch area, state police said. A suspect, Dashawn Watkins, has been charged with first-degree murder, aggravated assault, evidence tampering, and abuse of a corpse after allegedly murdering and dismembering Likens. Officials say footage also captured Watkins, 29, making several trips out of his apartment carrying multiple trash bags and driving to his apartment in the vehicle seen near the crime scene. Multiple locations in Watkins' apartment tested positive in a preliminary blood test, according to the Pennsylvania State Police. Watkins' next preliminary hearing will be held on July 17th, and another is scheduled for July 25th. His arraignment was on July 3rd, and he was denied bail. He has not yet entered the plea. ABC News has reached out to Watkins' legal representation for comment. Likens' death comes amid heightened anti-LGBTQ sentiment that has been cause for concern. A candlelit vigil for the teen is being planned for July 13th by local LGBTQ activist groups. We must stay vigilant in protecting our trans kids and trans people, read a social media post by Trans United. Pauly Likens, a 14-year-old, was brutally murdered, her life cut short by violence and hatred. Her story is a stark reminder of the dangers our community faces daily. Now, like every other story that I've reported on, and I guess you guys can probably already see where this is going a mile ahead, they didn't post the person's mugshot. Well, like always, I found the person's mugshot, and this is what Dashawn Watkins looks like. Like I said, we probably have all seen this coming. We knew from a mile away who exactly is responsible for this crime. Matter of fact, if you guys couldn't tell by the name, then I got a bridge to sell you. But let me tell you something about this, all right? And let me tell you about this poor excuse of a brother right here. And I'm using the term brother lightly. But as a 29-year-old man, he knows better than to be doing some shit like this. Now, from other reports that I've heard and other news articles that I've read about this case, this man was not tricked. Despite all of the rumors and the stereotypes that you hear people saying, oh, well, maybe she tricked him. This man literally met this girl on a gay dating site. Not only did that, he also knew she was underage. As a 29-year-old man, you know better. You know better than to do some shit like this. But yet he did it anyway. Then he took it a step further and dismembered her body. Now, this isn't the first time something like that has happened here in the state of Pennsylvania. There was another case I reported on a couple of years ago about another man, Akhenaton Jones, or I don't even know how to pronounce the blood guy's name, who kidnapped and dismembered a trans woman in the city of Philadelphia. And I think a couple months ago, there was another man that had killed and dismembered his own father. I think this was in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. What is going on in Pennsylvania? Why are so many people just chopping up people's bodies? Like, is there something in the water? Like, this is uncalled for. But so far, this animal, Dashawn Watkins, whatever the hell his name is, he's looking at least 25 years in prison for this. But it takes another gruesome turn. Apparently, there are people out here who are trying to defend what this guy is doing. Now, mind you, these are the same people that are trying to ban drag shows, that are trying to ban people just like Pauly from getting hormones. And guess who they're defending? Not the child, the predator. Here's some comments for you guys. This kid's parents should be aggressively dragged into a dingy cell until their trial for gross negligence. Our society has become so stupid we might need to implement a mandatory procreation license for normal, responsible parents. All right, so I don't understand what this has to do with the parents, because, all right, so I find it very funny how they're blaming the parents, but they're not blaming the 29-year-old man that agreed to meet a minor on the internet, that set up a profile on a dating site, and then continued to violate and then dismember her dead body. That's the parents' fault for doing all that. Makes no sense. Stop painting a narrative until we know the motivation was. Well, we already do know what the motivation was. A 29-year-old man trying to meet a 14-year-old girl. We already know what this guy was intending on doing. This guy had every intention to violate this child's rights. And if you know anything about the police definitely have the chat logs. They know exactly what this guy was planning on doing. So there's no way you can play devil's advocate to try and defend some guy like this. 14, this is 100% the parents' fault. Keep your kids at home and stop making them sex objects. Well, who made them the sex object? The parent or the 29-year-old man who knew exactly what her age was, who knew exactly why she was on that dating site? Any other normal person would be like, okay, well, you shouldn't be on this site, and they would immediately stop talking to that person. They wouldn't agree to meet up with them, especially at 2:30 in the fucking morning. I just hope she was saved by the blood of Jesus, because that's the only way to get into heaven. Well, what did she do that was so wrong besides, existing and being herself? If anyone needs to be saved, it's the 29-year-old man. I don't agree with allowing kids and teens to transition. In fact, I believe that if the parents didn't allow their child to transition, they would still be alive. But it's completely deranged and awful that this happened. So unbelievably sad. So So this guy is trying to play off with the sympathy card, saying, oh, well, I'm saddened by this, but it's not the predator's fault. It's the parents' fault because, you know, this guy acts like children who aren't transgender are completely immune from these types of predators. We all watched Skeeter Jean. We all watched Chris Hansen. We all watched Pop Squad and Predator Poachers and Gotcha Preds and Dads Against Predators. There's just as many sick fucks out there that are willing to prey upon any child regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. This has absolutely nothing to do with them being trans or them being, you know, queer or whatever. This is nothing more than a slick attempt of trying to blame the victim and wrapping it up in sadness. I'm seeing right through this shit. The parents should be held accountable. It's sad this child had to die this way. It's bad enough this child was confused and lost. Transgender or not, this is a child. Shame on the shitty parents. Well, more like shame on the 29-year-old man. Seems like everybody wants to blame everyone except the 29-year-old man. Like, what is this? Why are you defending this guy? Why are you just sweeping over the rug? Why are you just sweeping under the rug that this was a grown man, almost in his fucking 30s, talking to someone twice his age, talking to someone that's probably old enough to be his little sister, or maybe even his daughter? Why are people just overlooking that? Oh no, let's go straight to the parents because the parents allowed the child to be transgender. Shut the fuck up. Sad, but why is a 14-year-old out alone at 3 a.m.? This world is full of evil. Protect your children by not letting them get themselves into this type of situation. All right, so here we have another person that's trying to wrap victim blaming and masquerade it as sadness. All right, now, this isn't something that I haven't heard before. I was watching an episode of Pop Squad where these guys caught this one predator, and the same excuse that this predator kept asking is, oh, well, why is the child on the site? Why are you mad at me? Why aren't you mad at the parents? It's not my fault that, you know, I'm a 29, a 30-year-old man, and I wanted to meet a child on the internet. Like, what's up with all that?
What brings you out here at 3 o'clock in the morning?
I just brought some friend sliders from White Castle.
You brought a friend some sliders from White Castle?
Yes.
Okay. You're dropping off
And that's it?
White Castle to Walmart?
No.
Oh.
She told me to come in Walmart.
She told you to come here?
First of all, you guys should not be on there. Second of all, because I don't do that.
We shouldn't be on there?
Yes.
Why shouldn't we be on there?
Because you're 14.
No.
And I'm over age.
I'm not 14. But you believed you were talking to a 14-year-old. That's the problem, and you're right. Yes, you're over age.
Yes.
You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. He's number 148 that I've caught in person trying to come meet a 12, 13, or 14-year-old child and thinks it's okay.
I don't even know her, but why she's on there right now?
Do you hear what's coming out of his mouth? And he thinks this is okay. I didn't even know her, but why is she on there?
If I'm thinking of right now, if my son was like that, I wouldn't tell her to control herself first.
So why are you out here trying to meet a child then?
Why is she on the scout? I didn't
You're really still sticking to that. I'm not doing this circle with you. Take care. Stay away from kids.
All right. Their parents need to tell them to stay home.
Raj.
If they don't, then I don't know what to tell you guys. Because they smoke weed.
That's why we are here to tell people like you to stay home. You don't belong around kids.
It's not my fault. It's the parents' fault. It's the parents' fault. The parents are the ones that allowed me to do this. Does anyone in here believe in personal responsibility? As a 29-year-old man, you are old enough to know right from wrong. You are old enough to know that is absolutely disgusting. We were all 14 at one point in time. We've all made stupid mistakes while we were minors. But there were always adults on the other end that were there to guide us into the right direction, that were there to protect us so that we wouldn't get ourselves hurt. And this poor excuse for a human being decided to just violate and murder this little girl. Probably thought he was meeting a real girl and discovered this dude was tucking his junk. All right, so I'm here to tell you this is total bullocks right here. This man met this little girl on a queer dating site. I think the site in particular that one of the articles mentioned was Grindr. Oh yes, he was totally tricked because he thought that he was going to meet a woman on a gay dating site. Now this is news to me because I didn't even know that there were trans people on Grindr. Apparently, over the years, Grindr has decided to, diversify to make it a little bit more open to people that are part of, the pansexual community, the bi community. If what I heard on the news that it was trans, in other words, a boy playing dress up, if that is true, the killer may have expected a real girl, possibly told him he was 18. When the killer unwrapped the goods, hello, I am a boy. If that was the case, the killer can claim insanity. Also, cutting up the body helps him with that. If that was a real girl, give him the chair. All right, so what we have here is the textbook definition of what we all know as the trans panic defense. Oh, well, I expected it to be a girl. I panicked. I freaked out. I accidentally ended up murdering her. Please put me in the insane asylum. Well, we all know, like I said, this all falls flat on its face. There's no way that this guy expected to meet a cis woman on a gay dating site. He knew exactly what he was getting into. So that whole trans panic argument just flies straight out of the fucking window now, doesn't it? Also, I'm almost guaranteed he probably knew that this was a 14-year-old. And instead of doing the responsible thing, he decided to do this bullshit. Like I said in my previous video, we have to stop making excuses for people like this. But what really gets me is the tail bit on the end. If that was a real girl, give him the chair. So it's perfectly justifiable if it's a queer kid. But if it was a cis kid or a straight kid, oh, give him the chair. Now, mind you, these are the same group of people that claim that they want to protect children. If the parents didn't support this type of behavior, then maybe he would still be here. All right, so what does the parents' decision to accept the daughter as transgender have anything to do with the 29-year-old man that lured her off the internet? Explain that one to me. I like how they wait until the end to tell you this is a boy transitioning to a girl. That changes the whole dynamic of the story. So the guy thinks he's going to have sex with a girl just to find out it's a boy. He loses his shit and hurts the kid, kills him. Now he panics and dismembers the body. Well, I don't see how this changes the whole dynamic of the story, and based on how you wrote your comment, all right, this speaks volumes, all right? First off, it says, boy transitioning to a girl. So the author of this comment admits that this is a minor. So the guy thinks he's going to have sex with a girl. Oh, ding, 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 ding. All right, so that's the problem. A grown man should not be trying to have sex with little girls. Just to find out it's a boy, he loses his shit and hurts the kid, kills him. Now he panics and dismembers the body. All right? What part about this person being a 29-year-old man do you not fucking understand? Adult, child. Those are two things that do not belong. That is unacceptable and completely inappropriate. But for some reason, in right-wing Wonderland, they see no problem with it. It's the child's fault and it's the parent's fault. It's the victim's fault that a predator came after them. Why the F was a 14-year-old girl posing, doing out at 3 a.m.? Well, like I said, kids make dumb mistakes. They don't understand the world. They're still babies. They need to be guided in the right direction. And it goes beyond just the parents. It takes a village to raise a child. We all know when children become teenagers, they start to get a little bit rebellious of their parents, not wanting to listen, sneaking out of the house, maybe, sneaking a drink of alcohol every now and then, smoking some weed or something like that. We've all went to school with kids that were just like this, doing reckless things, disobeying what their parents tell them to do. We've all been there, thinking that we know it all, and in reality, we don't know jack shit. But there were always adults involved in our lives that were there to tell us the right way to do things, and the way that we should approach things, and what we should prepare for in the future. Dashawn Watkins was not that type of adult. So instead of blaming the little girl, maybe you should turn your attention to the person who actually committed the crime. So right now I'm going to save the best one for last, and believe me, this is a total shocker. Mentally ill dies because parents did not get the child help and let the madness go on. I say free him and hold the parents accountable for the death. So, like I said, this speaks volumes. These people hate trans people and the LGBTQ community so much that they're willing to defend an actual groomer, an actual pedophile. I guess GOP has a new meaning now. Instead of grand old party, it means gruesome old pedophiles. That's all I got to say. This is rough. This is really fucking rough. You guys stay safe, stay metal, hell Satan. I'll catch you guys in the next time.